I'm here with actor and comedian Stephen Kramer Glickman. If you've watched my channel in the past, you'll know him from an acclaimed indie film called Love on a Leash. I have a lot of questions regarding what happened exactly with that
Oh
production,
man.
but
Well, I have answers for you.
before we get into that, I want you to talk about yourself and your acting career, because you did have a long and successful career after, and this is kind of like you
Yeah,
coming out
no, I don't think
with
due to being in the film, but you never know. You never know. Those early jobs, the first jobs that you have when you're working in this business, are like sometimes the most bizarre and hilarious jobs.
You were in Shrek the Musical briefly, or
I
like
stopped. That
the
was
early stages of it?
Yeah, like that was in the earliest part of my. That was after Love on a Leash. It's actually those actually kind of coincide, those two, which is pretty weird. Then White Fang on Netflix with Paul Giamatti and Nick Offerman, and then my podcast, the Nighttime Show, has been running now for 4 years. We're coming up on our 200th episode.
Yeah,
very
which is
very
great.
shortly.
I
And,
looked at that too. You have a lot of good guests on. You have a
and,
stand-up comedy album as well.
Yeah,
right?
my album came out in March. Voices in My Head, which is a pretty funny album, and
Good. What kind of comedy do you do in that?
I mean, I've been doing stand up for 16 years here in Los Angeles and in New York, and kind of bounced back and forth for a long time doing stand up at in Caroline's out there, and then in stand up New York and places like that, and then out here it's the Comedy Store and the Hollywood Improv and the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
And yeah, just impressions, doing impressions and voices and lots of funny silly things like that. But actually, so Love on a Leash came about because I was the doorman and the phone operator at the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard, and a comedian named Ari Shafir came into my office where I answered the phones and was like, "Hey, you do voice stuff, right?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And he goes, "Well, there's this movie, and they're making this movie, and it's the voice of you'd be playing a dog. It's this like animated thing. I'm not totally sure. It's something like this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't pay very much. It pays like it'll pay a little, and but if you want to do it, like I can just tell the lady. They offered it to me. I said no. So if you want it, I'll just pass it off to you." And I was like, "Yes, yeah, absolutely." I didn't ask anything. I just said yes. And then this woman, Jennifer Ten,
The director.
the director, shows up a couple days later in my office at the Comedy Store, and she has a grocery bag with 3 cantaloupes and a big bag of wontons. And she said, "This is what I can offer to pay you for being in this movie."
I assume she was joking.
And I said, "Yeah, sounds great." It's a dog, and he's a dog, and she did not speak English very well. She spoke very, very little English. And she said, "This is a dog, and the dog loves this, is looking for a woman, and then the dog becomes a man." And I was like, "Okay, all right." And the whole time I thought I didn't think it was live action. I thought it was an animated movie. So I recorded in the office for one day, and that was the end of it. And we said our goodbyes, and I ate my the cantaloupe, and I was like, didn't think of it again until I auditioned to play Shrek in the Shrek musical on Broadway, and beat out 50,000 people from around the world to play the role for DreamWorks in New York. Everyone at the Comedy Store helped out, like Bobby Lee and all these people would help me run my lines and all sorts of stuff. And DreamWorks is like, we're moving you from your shithole apartment in Encino to middle of Manhattan, 58th and 5th Avenue, like the biggest, place most expensive place to this day I've ever lived in my life. And I was so excited. And about 5 days before I left, I got a phone call from Jennifer Ten. And she goes, we need you. The movie is finished and the lines are all wrong. We need you to come into the studio and record. I have no money. And I'm like, I do not have time for this. I'm moving to New York. Like, I'm good. And there was a guy who was an editor who I can't even say his name because he has literally asked to not have anything to do with the movie. And so he said, can you please come here? The movie needs you to come in, and I'm sorry there's no money, but
please,
can you come
we're
in?
begging you.
We're begging you. Drive to Redondo Beach and come and record this. And I was like, fine. Like, they were like, we're going to need like 2 days from you. And I was like, I do not have 2 days to be doing this shit. And, but I did, because like I was being nice, and I drove out to Redondo Beach. I get to this guy's house. I walk in. Jennifer, the director, writer, has taken what looks like a light, like a flashlight, like a red flashlight, and she has jammed it up her nose to here, like to like there. So her nose is glowing. It's all red and glowing from the top of her head from up here. And she has it like this with a wire. And she was like, I have, head colds. This gets rid of the head colds. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then they were like, we're going to play the movie for you. And the place, his editing place, stinks. All right, like it smells horrendous.
Okay.
And it's not from him, it's from her, because she's been cooking.
They played the footage of the movie for you then?
Yeah, so then
and you had to
down.
do the voiceover. So this is like the first time you actually saw the movie.
Yeah, so then they played the movie for me, and I just could not stop laughing. Like, I was falling apart, and I couldn't figure out what was happening. Like, I was like, why is everything... I was like, first thing I said was, why is everything green? Why is everything green?
Was there significance to that?
And
like
she said, it's green because in China, green means horny. And this woman is so horny that everything has to be green because it is so significant to who she is as a person that's hence the green hoodie from today.
There are like China production companies involved with producing this movie?
Not a Chinese production company. It was a Chinese church. She had convinced a church that she was going to make a movie about religion and God and Jesus, and how Jesus would help through his spirit you can find love, basically. And so, by the way, when she showed this to the priest from the Chinese church that paid for it, he shut it down. He was like, shut it all down. Yeah. He was very, very offended by the film, and then she had to go find money from somewhere else.
Prince, the character, is played by, I guess, 3 actors if you count the dog, but it's played by you voiced the dog, and then there's another actor, Anis Kamo, who plays like the human version of Prince also.
Yes.
And the two of you play him very differently.
Very different.
Yeah, which is confusing in the movie.
Yeah, it's
did you have
confusing.
any like direction from her, or was there like the script guiding you?
The script for Love on a Leash was the full script was written in Chinese and then basically Google translated into English before Google Translate existed. So in the worst possible way, it was translated to English, which is why you have lines like, they're not good for much, but at least they're good for some things, you know, like stuff like that. And then I would try to, or like, are you talking to me, Water Pond? You know, like there's a lot of dialogue that you know, like that really doesn't make a lot of sense. And so what would happen is I would say that, like, and this is what I've come to learn from hearing, at least from the other cast members from this, because I've only talked to them through other people. They all won't speak about the movie as far as I know, but the things I have heard is that it was very similar to the way that I was directed, which was I would say a line like I broke your favorite glasses, I think was a line.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh no, I broke your favorite glasses. And she'd go, no, it's I broke your favorite glasses.
Yeah, she would give you line readings, like exactly.
It would
how
line
to say
readings.
Yeah.
But
which
she
is
was
not what
doing
you're
that
supposed to do. Like you're supposed to.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
You're not
with
supposed
people.
to tell the actor literally how to say it.
Yeah, but she was doing that with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So like every single actor that was on that set was literally speaking broken English in English, which people that speak English naturally were speaking broken English because they were being told to speak broken English on set. So that's why like so much of the language is so, I mean, good for her for like making the effort to do something that is absolutely insane. Like it is an insane film.
Very ambitious. The story is very lots and twists and turns.
Oh my God, so strange. Another weird little tidbit. Not to just be jumping all over the place, but when I watched it for the first time, I noticed that the actress had a lot of acne on her face, like weirdly on her face, and I was like, didn't you guys should have got some makeup for that? And they said, no, those aren't real pimples. We put the pimples on her face. And I was like, why? And Jennifer said, it's because when you don't have sex, you get a lot of pimples.
Wow.
So,
all right.
So once she has sex with the dog person, then all the
Prince,
pimples
the character
away.
Prince, who was a human in a previous life, but he was punished by like the water pond and becomes a dog in this life.
Find a girl.
Girl?
If she only loves you, you may have a chance.
Find a girl? That's my specialty.
This movie, like, I remember getting a copy of it through somebody, and we watched it. I mean, we're talking 10 years ago, I think we watched it. And I was like, oh my God, thank God no one has ever seen this. Like, what a giant train wreck. And then when it came out on Amazon, I remember like hearing that it was out, but my name is not on the film. Like no. I specifically had my name not added to the film.
There's no mention of your name anywhere within.
Nowhere.
Like, I tried
nowhere.
No,
and I really like. I've done that twice in my career where I've worked on something and then went, oh shit,
What's
what
the
a
other time?
nightmare. Cargo. It was a movie that was an animated like ripoff of the movie Cars.
Oh, okay.
But the guys who made the movie lied and told me that it was from the studio, and they told me it was like who the cast was, and the cast was really great. Once I found out who's actually in the movie, and what the movie actually. This is back in
Yeah.
2017.
Well, who'd they tell you was in it? Like at first.
It was Sarah Michelle Gellar, and it was someone else. It was Sarah Michelle Gellar and Zac Efron or something like this. And I was like, oh, all right. And then they were like, actually, like after I was there, they were like, oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar dropped out, and now it's Melissa Joan Hart, and instead of Zac Efron, we have Haley Joel Osment. And I was like, what the hell is this? And then I looked at the artwork, and I was like, oh my God, this is a terrible movie.
I earn an honest living and provide for this family. It's time you appreciate hard work.
Hard work, my bumper.
And then I found out it was The Asylum, which is the company that made like Sharknado, and I was like, I'm not in this movie. Like I'm out. And I got the people that I work with to get myself, removed from it.
Well, that isn't very nice.
Ed Asner's in the movie. Ed Asner has 7 Emmy Awards, but I always kind of felt like you shouldn't, when you're trying to build your career, you don't want to show people that you're just doing fucking anything. Like you're trying to those are all people. Even Melissa Joan Hart's had a whole career already. Haley Joel Osment's been in huge movies. Like I'm still building my stuff, so I try to be a little more careful about what I say or what I act in or what I do. But it's also kind of stupid because that's a lot of people work on that kind of stuff, and it's a little it's a little rude of me to try to pull myself off of stuff like that.
Living on the street is hard, and also it hurts my feet, 'cause I'm a dog, and it hurts my feet when it's hot outside, 'cause I'm a dog.
The little musical asides you have where
Oh,
Prince just
that-
starts singing.
Okay, so that is a big thing. So I think you figured out the thing that there's no music in the whole movie, but there's
Yeah.
still,
In the Amazon Prime version I saw,
there was music.
there wasn't, because we watched
Okay.
on Amazon Prime. But apparently, from what I've come to learn, there is a DVD version with music.
Right. So just like my contract, there was no contract. So she didn't do contracts with a lot of people or a lot of things in the movie, and so because of that, when it came time, to put it up on Amazon, they need all the documents to be able to do everything, and music is a huge part of that, and that she didn't have the contracts for the music, so all the music in the whole film had to get pulled out, including when I was recording it, she said, oh, you can sing this part, and then I'll have them write music under your voice. And so throughout the movie, I'm like, 'cause I'm a dog. I gotta get
And you thought they were going to put music later. It just sounds
there is
very...
no music.
No, there's
It's
not.
just me just going, I'm a dog, and my feet get burned on the street because I'm a dog on the street, and it's just no music. It's just so weird.
I'm going to her
there-
house. We're going to go far. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
It's just these random... we just improvised them.
There's a lot of little things that got improvised from me. Alvin Flang.
The name.
Alvin Flang? Mm-hmm. Flang. That's improvised.
Okay.
That was a joke.
She said you needed a name in the movie?
She said, you need a name. Do a thing where you said, I have a name. And then, give me a name or something. And I was like, okay. And so I just said, my name is Alvin Flang.
How about we call you Rover?
I already have a name. My name is Alvin Flang.
Well, okay, maybe something a little more class.
Like Alvin Flang.
And she just was like, okay, didn't even think twice of it. And I forgot that it was even in the movie until I watched it about a month ago. And I was like, oh my God. There's so many things in that movie that don't make any sense. I mean, even the shots, like you pointed out, the old lady sitting in the chair and the weird angle.
Yeah, like a horror film, like the Dutch angle.
The agent. The
Yeah.
farting, there's a bunch of farting that happens.
Well,
Very
the
strange.
dog agent that what the hell was that whole plot line? He
Oh,
somehow got
man.
paid to do a commercial, and they gave the money to the dog, and he brought it home.
Yeah, and then she gets upset that he made money.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is going on?
But how'd they even pay
with
the
these
dog?
people?
They gave the money to the dog?
Yeah, they gave him money
They
in
gave
his
him
mouth.
yeah, they gave it in his mouth.
They were like, take the money home in your mouth.
Hey, don't spend it all on green clothing.
It's just its own thing. It just goes in all kinds of different directions. She has like 5 love interests in the first half hour, and then they like never show up after that.
You should date 4 or 5 guys at the same time.
The speech with the guy where he's like, I would treat you so well, and
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to you.
I'm not attracted to any woman. All my relationships are with men.
You're...
Yes.
Then why do you want to marry me?
My family is very old school.
And I'm like, oh, everything in here is green.
Everything's
That's
here in green.
weird.
That's improv
know,
too?
That's improv,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's her not realizing that I'm making fun of the movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're
during the
actually
movie.
seeing the movie and then acting. So your
Yeah, 'cause
your
I-
performance was a little more like sarcastic, like poking fun at it because you knew what it was. But I think like the
because I-
actors in there didn't know. Like they were
Yeah, because
trying
the
to play
actors
it.
that were in it, they didn't realize what a giant pile of shit that they were making.
Maybe, yeah.
And
I mean, they might have had some idea, but there's no idea. Like they couldn't actually
No.
see the shots, like how it was composed and the editing and all those things.
Yeah, they're not. You know, when you're making something, most of the time you don't really know if it's going to be a hit or if it's going to be crap. And I'm sure. Well, the one thing that I know is that the main lead female, and the guy who plays the human version of Prince, those two met on that set and got married and had a baby, and also quit the industry, I believe, at the same time.
That's awesome.
So
In my past life, I was punished for being a cheating playboy. I was cursed to live as a dog. But, I could be a man. I could be your husband.
like, I came into the movie with nothing to prove because I'm about to leave and go do the biggest job of at that point that I ever had done in my life. So I just showed up and was like, well, let's get this thing done. And by the end of the first day, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, I can't wait to be able to watch this someday. But I was like, this is just a nightmare. And just watching that footage back then, you know, and her getting mad at me, she was so mad at me because I would do the lines differently than she'd want me to do them. Like, it would, like, there was a line.
No girls, no fun, man. No girls, no fun.
Where, oh, no girls, no fun. No girls, no fun. That's what it was. And I was like, no one talks like that. That's not what people sound like. Like this, it really, and it's like, oh, if you look at the way I speak at the beginning of the film to the way I'm speaking at the end of the film, it's way more, it just sounds way more like a sarcastic person, like doing like regular speaking English in a normal way, but because it was recorded sequentially. So at the beginning, she had so much control over everything that I was saying that like the first 10 minutes of the movie makes so little sense. And the stuff that I'm saying, you're just like, I'm not gay, like all that kind of stuff. Like that's like her being like, you got to do this. This is exactly how to say it.
I was better looking than you. Oh, I can't stand this. You laughing at me, Water Pond?
And then by the end, I'm like, making fun of her friends, and I'm making fun of her clothes, and I'm saying all sorts of dumb shit, and the only person that I kept in touch with was the editor that is not the editor that's listed on the film.
Yeah.
And because there's footage from behind the scenes of like the making of this thing, and
Where can I find that?
like of me. It's like footage of me recording the voiceover, and I begged him for the footage, and he was like, no, because he's in all the footage, and he's like, if anyone knows that I worked on this, it could ruin my reputation for the work that I do now, and you know, I can't
Wow.
allow it. So like he even like sent me some of the footage, but none of it had any audio, and I was like, this is bullshit. I was like, let's just be proud when it comes to like bad movies. Let's just let people know, you know, sometimes you do shit, sometimes you do bad stuff, and that's okay. That's part of the business that we're in.
It's part of success.
It
It's
is.
failure.
It is.
Yeah, because then you learn and you try
100%.
again. Right. Everyone
You gotta
deserves
be
a second
proud
chance.
of everything.
Right.
You know, and I'll tell you what, when you're on a set, like when I was on Big Time Rush and I'm working with, you know, like Snoop Dogg and all sorts of like wonderful people, and I'm having this great time at Nickelodeon, big network, and all
It's
sorts
a bit more
of things.
professional. Yeah.
Oh my god! And
Yeah.
we're at Paramount.
They're
you
not
know,
calling
and
you
we're all,
last minute, like you have to record your line.
Oh no,
like
no,
in
no!
a
and there's-
frantic. They have a
we're
schedule.
all having a good time.
Right.
This is the kind of thing that you talk about. You talk about the bad gigs. I want to sit with you on stage and my friend Matt, and I want, like, from Nighttime Show, and I want to play this movie for an audience and talk the entire way through it. And
like Mystery Science Theater style. Okay.
yeah, we should totally do
I
that.
would like
People would
that.
come out to that.
There must have been a premiere or something.
As far as I know, there was not a premiere.
Okay.
I mean, I think there was so much, not to sound, you know, weird or anything, but like the fact that she got the money for this movie from a church in China, and then the church had to fly over to America to meet with her, and then they were like upset by the movie, and then she had to go find money other places to finish it. That's a lot of drive to have to make a movie about a woman that
It's just trying to find
basically
love. Really.
is trying to find love, and
Just trying to find love.
trying to find it with a dog. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. It really is.
She tries a couple guys, but you know they all have their issues.
They really do. I'm so happy that you found it, because if you wouldn't have found it, I don't know if when I would have seen it again.
Well, then
And
it
I
just would have
keep-
been gone. It would have worked. You would have successfully hidden this from your career, like forever.
Yes, probably.
After you did Love on a Leash, you did Big Time Rush for
Yeah.
what, like 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
4
So-
seasons in a movie.
Yeah, 4 seasons and a movie, 71 episodes. That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot.
You're in a
Many-
lot of them. You know, you're a major character.
Yeah,
too.
around 98%. I think there's one episode I'm not in, but as a series regular, you have to.
They
be
go to
in
the recording
almost all
studio
of them.
basically every episode.
Yeah, or I would go to their house and do something to them. You know, that was a really cool time. Big Time Rush was shot on the Paramount lot on stages 27 and 28. Right across the hall from the Dr. Phil show and the TV show Community, and then 3 stages away from Glee. So we were all, you know, around each other all the time. We would be, you know, like we would see Dr. Phil every morning on his way into work, and say our highs and hellos, and Joel McHale would come over to our set. I once left my big yellow goggles, my big glasses, I left them on the set of Community because the directors of Community, for the most part, were Joe and Anthony Russo, and Joe and Anthony Russo directed another show I was on called Carpoolers.
Hey, it's Grayson and the Blowfish.
And while they were filming Community, these directors, one day I was over there and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go direct this movie called Captain America: The Winter Soldier." And I was like, what? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
and then they went on to
Like, you
direct
guys are
Avengers
sitcom
and-
directors.
and yeah,
Yeah, and
they
then
went on to direct
they
a ton of
directed
things.
Avengers Endgame and Infinity War and everything. I mean, they're legendary directors now. But it was cool. I mean, being with them, seeing them all the time, and that was really neat. And seeing Chevy Chase around, and that cast was all super cool. And we used to have the guys from Glee would come over to our set and screw around, and steal our costumes, and steal our food, and we'd go and steal their food. And yeah, the Big Time Rush guys were terrific. They're terrific guys. And they were, it was very exciting to watch them kind of explode into, this internationally, known thing. And I didn't have to dance at any point. They did all the dancing, and I just stood by. And they're such incredibly nice guys, and just individually, I'd kind of, the only one that I'd known prior was James, who was on the show with me. I had watched him grow up in San Diego. I grew up in San Diego, and he did community theater down there, and is Jewish. I'm Jewish, and so we would see each other at synagogue and things like that at the high holidays. And he was like a kid that I knew from around. And when I heard that he had gotten cast on Nickelodeon, I was like, oh, that's so cool and good for him. But that was kind of the end of it. And then they had a table read of the show. And I'll tell you real quick, they cast somebody else to play my part. And at the table read, the directors and the producers were like, this guy's too creepy, and they let him go. And they fired him on Thursday, hired me Friday. My fitting was Saturday, and I got my script Sunday, and I started shooting Monday and never stopped.
And then from 2009 to 2013, you were filming that. Yeah, I thought it was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and it was super, super fun. It was amazing.
What was the schedule on that?
We shot
days off?
70 hours a week. We were a 70-hour-a-week show. There was a lot of sleeping in the dressing room, and working crazy hours, and it was amazing. We also had amazing writers, people like Jessica Gao, who wrote Pickle Rick for the Rick and Morty episode. She wrote on our show, and so did Jed Spingarden, and all these amazing Laszlo, and all these phenomenal writers. So we had top tier comedy people, helping us to make this thing a success.
You keep in touch with all of them still?
Yeah. I just talked to our AD, our second AD from who ran our whole show. We just talked a couple days ago. I talked to the boys on the show constantly, and everybody, we all kind of stay pretty close in touch, because we were a family for a really, really long time. It's thankfully we stay in touch, because when you work on something for years and years, like on Storks, I haven't, Andy Samberg, once we were done with the movie, Andy's off back to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, back to working on his show. I think it's different with a movie, because you work together for a period of time, you wait for it to come out, it comes out, and then you move on, as opposed to TV, which just kind of lives on and on and on. And
do it for 6-7 years.
I've been lucky enough on Storks that I got to become good friends with Doug Sweetland, who is a Pixar legend, and he was our director, and John Venson, who was our editor. I've stayed very close with them, which is nice. But aside from that, it's weird.
Yeah, you said a movie's very different. There's the Big Time movie, right?
Yeah, Big Time movie.
How is that different than filming their show? Because I assume it's all the same people.
Different crew.
Different
the whole
crew.
was different.
They get like a film crew. And
yeah,
then,
well,
but it's the same cast.
Same cast for the most part. We shot it in Vancouver,
Okay.
Canada.
That makes sense.
We were there for 2 months. I worked 5 days in 2 months, and I got paid for 2 months of work at my regular rate. Yeah, we came back, and then when we finished season 3, they told us the show was done, that we were canceled. And I took a pickup truck, brought it to the set, and loaded it up with all of my props from the show and my costumes, and left with all my stuff, even though they didn't care, because they were like, the show's done. And then about 2 weeks later, they were like, show's been picked up, we're back in season 4. And I was like, uh-oh.
Gotta bring all the stuff back.
I gotta bring all that stuff back.
Yeah.
So I had to like bring a lot of it back to the set.
That's good.
And it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
a
then
lot.
season 4,
I got to keep a lot of it.
Have you shown them any of the Big Time Rush people Love on a Leash? Watched it with them?
I don't think so. I don't think it was available. It wasn't available at the time. I gotta show them now.
Yeah, when did you get Love on a Leash? When did you get access to it and watch it?
I saw it for the first time about 10 years ago, because a friend was able to pull it off of like a Chinese website. And so we watched it at Thanksgiving at like my mom's house like 10 years ago. And I was like, no one will ever see this movie again. Like I would just, I was like, we watched it one time. We thought, we all laughed, but it was like shocking.
Lisa, if you truly love me, for me, as I am, like this.
Your video popped up, and a friend, my friend Matt Walker, who I do the nighttime show with, he was like, Steven, you got to watch this. And then we watched your thing, and then I was like, oh shit, I guess it's time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's time to like admit to it. Like, I don't know.
Well, you didn't have to. I mean,
no, I know.
Could've
But
just
I
kept it
was
secret.
like, it's more.
But you added so much more context to the movie. There's so many things that we didn't know that now we're a bit more.
Well, once
clear
it
on.
became something that people can watch, it's a different. There's more fun in telling people that you were a part of it, because for a long time,
pulling back the curtain a little.
Yeah, because it's like pulling back the curtain on, like, for example, I was in a movie called, get ready, the 41-year-old virgin that knocked up Sarah Marshall and felt super bad about it.
I heard about that.
Okay, so I play Seth Rogen in that movie, and
alright.
that movie was made by my cousin's husband, and it was like a SAG job, and it was like, I got a bunch of credits on it. I got a producer credit because they needed a lead actor, and Brian Callen was a good friend of mine, and he was on Mad TV, so I was like, what about Brian Callen? And then they gave it to him, and they offered him a bunch of money, and he came and did it. But it was like, it led to me doing a bunch of parody movies and working on like a couple. I worked on 3, and like I was in 2 of them, but I worked on 3, and then I worked on a 4th that is one of the craziest stories ever. I'll tell you very quickly if you want to hear a crazy story.
Yes, please.
I had a pitch that I came up with for a movie called Fast Car Movie, which was the Fast and Furious parody movie, and so I went with my cousin's husband over to Fox, and we pitched it to them, and I was for him and I to write it together, and they financed it, and we went out and wrote this script, and it was very funny and really stupid, but funny, and we started location scouting and putting the cast together. I had pulled a little over $11 million into the budget for the film. And it was like a big studio, like, indie, comedy thing. And Paul Walker died, and they were like, shut it down immediately. And they like all the money, just the money vanished. The whole thing just shut down. And we've had a couple of times since then where we've had some re-interest in it. I had a couple meetings with the Wayans family, with the Wayans brother family, and Damon and Keenan Ivory and I talked, and Sean Wayans and I have talked about it, and they've gone over the script and stuff like that, and it's not really the right time to do it and the right thing to do at the moment, but I got so close. We got so close on that one. But it's for the best.
And there is another Fast and Furious parody called Super
Yeah.
Fast.
Yes.
Exclamation
Yes.
point. Yeah.
Yeah,
so So now it's like,
that, like, while we were working on ours, which was a bigger budgeted thing with bigger people and stuff, that we watched that get made, and we were like, oh fuck.
That was
then it came out
Freeberg and
it was a big
Seltzer, though.
flop.
Those guys are like the kings of the parody. They did Epic Movie, Date Movie, Meet the Spartans. Yeah. You had some
Yeah,
competition there.
Those are big competition, yeah.
But they didn't care. They
I'm-
just released it anyway. They didn't care that,
They
the
didn't
whole
care.
Paul Walker
They
thing. They
didn't
didn't care at all. No.
It's for the best. I don't want to be in the parody film business. Like, that's a pretty rough business.
Yeah,
so.
it is. It seems to
Yeah.
be very quick. Like, your career
Yeah.
seems to be very quick in it.
Quick and dead.
People really have grown to love the film. I think people are really attached to it and like it. It has a 9.2 on IMDb.
Yeah, well, that's because of you. You did
But
that.
I don't even think The Godfather has that high of a rating. So
No, you nailed it. When I watched your video was almost better to watch than the actual movie
That's
itself.
not true.
Like, it'd be a fun thing to, I should redub the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
I should do like a new dub.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. You should add music to it.
We should.
That would probably help.
We should.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really funny. Yeah, that's or do a director's commentary or something. Not directors, but like dog commentary.
Since there's no proof of like you actually, like any credits to you, I was hoping you would say a line or two.
Anything.
So we could just prove.
Do you have any lines that I can
Yeah,
say?
yeah. I won't read them out to you. I'm just gonna put them here.
Oh, great.
And let's just prove. Try to say it like you did in the movie, however many years ago, or when you
Okay,
recorded
here
it
we
in
go.
the studio. Try to put yourself back in that.
Put a couple more. Put a couple more.
Yeah, yeah. I'll put a few.
All right, here we go. Here's the first one. Are you ready? I do own a home in Switzerland.
That was very good. You did the little Switzerland.
I want the house to have my hair color, not all green. Ew.
I thought it was Flang for a really long time, and then everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's Alvin Flang! Oh my God, it's Alvin Flang!" I was like,
Wait, you thought it was Frank, but you came up with it, right?
yeah, but I mean, it was like 15, 16 years ago. I don't know what the hell's going on. She's got these big fake pimples all over her face. It is so strange. It is such a strange move. I've never seen a director do anything
I
like
thought she was
that.
just making that up.
No, that's
Oh, yeah.
real.
Oh, I
ain't messing with you. I ain't messing with you,
No, I
Ralph.
thought she was messing with me.
No, she literally said, if you have acne, it means you're not getting laid. That is the reason why she has covered in acne
They had to put the
in the
makeup on.
beginning, and then it goes away once it happens for her. There's so many things you as an audience member have to jump. You have to believe so many things and ignore. You have to ignore so many things to be able to really to get through it.
Didn't she like pitch it as like it had some good messages? Like, oh,
Yeah,
like find
yeah.
love, like your love is out there, and like messages the church liked. But then
Yeah,
once they
it-
actually saw like I guess they just didn't like the movie either. I mean, it's not
But
very
once
good.
they saw it, they were
Yeah.
like, "This isn't at all what you said it was." Where does it sit for you on your level of like top, worst movies that
know.
you've seen?
But you gotta judge like the self-awareness of the filmmaker. Like she seems like she's really she loves this movie.
She loves it.
She wanted to
Absolutely.
make this movie.
This was her Lawrence of Arabia. She was like, she came over from China to make this movie. She was like, this is what I have to do with my life and career. Like, she fought for this. It has 6,459 reviews on IMDb. 6,459. That is because you told people to go do that.
I didn't tell
Because
people
Storks-
anything. I said it was a good film.
Storks has 54,000 ratings, and we only have a 6.8. But
Yeah,
you know why
did
that
you read
is?
the user reviews too? Like Citizen K9, absolute perfection.
Love on a Leash equals Citizen Kane for canines. I loved every second of this beautiful film. The cinematography and directing were so unbelievable. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought Roger Deakins was collaborating with Stanley Kubrick. That is an extraordinary review. I feel very good about myself.
That's very good. And these are all 10 out of 10s too.
Here's another 10 out of 10. My name is Alvin Flang. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard at a movie. I have nothing to say other than I can't recommend it enough. Please watch this absolute gem, and I swear your life will be changed for the better. Isle of Dogs and Isle of this movie. People watch a movie like this, and enough people see it on Tubi, and before you know it, it causes enough of a stir that places, like Amazon Prime and other places go, maybe we should put it back on, or Netflix goes, it's doing big enough numbers. Because
sure
right
why?
now, I believe it's part of a sale. Like, I think it made it over to Tubi as part of a block of films. Like,
They usually want another movie, and they're willing to take a bunch of other films,
yeah, like I'm looking to see who...
Because no one wants Love on a Leash on its own.
There's a company called Phoenix Pictures. Phoenix Pictures has a bunch of movies. Son of Sam, Zombie Nation, Battle Planet, Night Stalker, BTK Killer... a lot of horror stuff, like a bullshit Black Dahlia movie, Season of the Witch, which is not the good one.
Yeah, is that the
Blood
Nicolas
Predator.
Cage one?
These are all garbage films.
Okay.
And so for the most part, Phoenix probably took their stack of 50 movies, which they have 51 titles, and they probably went over to Amazon and was like, here's a package of 51 movies, and they wrote them a check for, $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever, and they use that to go buy more crappy movies, and that's what a lot of these companies do. There used to be a company that's all they did is buy bad movies and package them with other. There was a company in Studio City near where I live where they used to do that, and they went out of business. They're not still around, or they moved. They decided they don't need offices anymore. But there's a lot of companies that do that. They just buy up old crap and try to find and what, by you taking the rating, or not you, but fans taking the
Fans
rating
of the film,
to a 9.1 9.2. To give you an example, the other movies these people have made are a 1.9, a 1.8, a 2.0, a 2.0, a 1.5. This is the highest rated. This is their number one popular movie. By everybody putting these ratings in, it has made this movie their number one prize thing. So when they go and pitch their whole, lot of films, this is the number one thing that they all see.
Is there anything else you want to plug or add before?
I'll say this: if you're looking for another podcast of folks that are watching, if they're looking for another podcast or something to check out, the Nighttime Show is a great show, and we're recent guests on our show: Jonathan Banks from Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
Leah
awesome.
Thompson from Back to the Future, Danny Trejo, Luis Guzman, the cast of 90 Day Fiance. We've been doing it for 4 years. We're 200. We're 187 episodes in, and kind of planning out the big 200 of what we're gonna do for the big 200th. We did the Office cast reunion, which was really cool, in front of 10,000 people at LA Comic-Con. We've done some really, really cool ones, and it's me, my best friend Matt Walker, my other best friend Mike Black, and my other best friend. It's all my best friends, and my best buddy Mike Glazer, and so the four of us just talking to people that we're fans of, that we can nerd out about, and we get real nerdy, we get real geeky with them. So yeah, it's good. It's called The Nighttime Show. It's available on all the things, and then if you want to listen to my stand-up album, Voices in My Head, is available on Pandora.
It's through Pandora, SiriusXM, right?
Yep, Pandora, SiriusXM. So it's available there.
I heard it on Spotify.
Yeah, it's on Spotify too. Yeah. So it's all around. And then
you were a judge on Cupcake Wars too, and I watched that show before.
Oh my God!
I don't even know
what happened real quick on Cupcake Wars. This is 100% true. So Cupcake Wars has me on the show. They go, "Hey, you're gonna be a judge, for the Big Time Rush episode." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds awesome." And they go, "Hey, are you allergic to anything?" And I go, "Well, I'm Jewish, so I don't eat milk and meat together. I don't eat pork, and I don't eat shellfish." And they were like, "Well, this is a cupcake show, so you don't have to worry about any of that." And I was like, "Okay." And I show up, and the first cupcake is a barbecue pork cream cheese cupcake. And I was like on TV, and I'm like, "I can't eat this." And they were like, "You have to eat it." And I was like, "I'm not eating it." And they were like, "Eat it." And they were all pissed at me. So I pretended to eat it. I go out for dinner with my then girlfriend. We come out of the, we come out of the restaurant, and TMZ is there. And they're like, "Hey, Steven, we're here. You're on Cupcake Wars." And how was it? And I go, "Disgusting." And they go, "Really? Why? What happened?" I go, "Oh, I told them I couldn't eat a cream cheese. I couldn't eat milk and meat together. I can't eat, pork or whatever." And they gave me a barbecue pork cupcake. Those guys over there at Food Network, they must not like Jews very much. Something like this.
Oh my God.
So
this isn't like a comedy bit. You're saying this to
I'm saying it funny, but I'm saying it to TMZ cameras.
You're saying it to TMZ. It's not like a comedy bit.
Yeah, so TMZ runs a story.
Okay.
And the story is the title, I believe the title of the story. Yeah. Okay. The title of the story, still available to this day. Big Time Rush star Cupcake Wars screwed me with gross cupcakes. And then it tells exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Cupcake Wars refused to pay me because they said that I revealed ingredients which goes against my contract, and they said to Nickelodeon they would never work with Nickelodeon ever again because of me doing this. Nickelodeon, furious with me, calls my manager, yells at him, tells him I'm a fucking asshole, this whole thing. Giant fight between everybody, and I'm embarrassed. I feel like maybe I did something wrong, but I'm like, I don't know what to do. All of this is going on. This is all a huge mess. And then TMZ stopped Kendall from Big Time Rush at the airport and said, "Hey, did you hear about Steven and the Cupcake Wars?" And he was like, "No, what happened?" He goes, "Oh, he said that he's Jewish and he doesn't eat milk and meat and pork together, and they made him eat it anyways. Is that true? Is Steven really kosher? Do they owe him an apology?" And he goes, "They absolutely owe him an apology. It is so insensitive and absolutely hurtful that they would do that to our poor friend Steven." And da 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 da. Kendall stands up for me, which makes Food Network apologize to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon apologizes to me and my manager, and then Cupcake Wars sent me a big box of cupcakes as a thank you.
A barbecue pork cupcake.
Barbecue pork, all barbecue pork.
But good, because
But-
honestly, that's what they should have done.
Yeah.
It's
They did not
yeah,
pay me.
It was messed
but
up.
They, did do
They didn't
that.
pay you?
So, no, still didn't pay me.
It's messed
But
up.
it's a weird fucking business.
Yeah,
man.
it's a weird
business.
industry. They shouldn't make you eat
You
things
know?
you don't want to eat. When
That's
it
what's so
goes against
crazy
your
is it's
favorite
like something
food.
like Cupcake Wars. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
how could that have some sort of crazy story?
If a
And it
judge thought
does.
like the food was raw, they could go like, I don't want to eat that. That's like I'm gonna get sick or whatever. I've seen that. Before.
Yeah,
Like,
there's certain ways around it.
yeah. And if he didn't stand up for you either, like it probably just would have gone under the rug. They would have just kept.
Yeah, if
you
he
know,
wouldn't, if
harassing
Kendall
you.
wouldn't have, if Kendall wouldn't have stood up for me,
'Cause he's like a
to
name.
the, on television, it would have probably been a bigger mess. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
he's a good kid. Those are good kids. I got good kids on that show. Thank God.
Yeah, the Big Time Rush crew, they're okay. That's good.
Yeah, they're great. They're
Good.
great.
Yeah. So again, thank
Cool,
you.
man.
I mean, I keep saying thank you, but yeah, awesome
No.
for you to tell us all about this wonderful indie film, and we really appreciate it.
Anytime, buddy. Thanks again for having me, man, and thanks for the whole thing. It was a great time.